All right, so what you had before is going to look more like this. I'm just going to move this second piece away, and it looks more like that, right? So you've got the first part and then the second part, right? So, and then you probably don't have this screen. So once you have this up here, you're going to go up to this little icon here where it shows the scissors and click on it. Okay. Once you've got that, and this, Megan, this will be very similar once you are able to get Reaper installed on your computer. And we can spend a bit of time figuring that out because, installing software on Windows, unfortunately, is not always straightforward. So it might take a little bit of trying to get it sorted out perfectly. But once you get it, it works really well. But anyway, so now you're down in this window and you just move this little arrow over here, and then you want to go, oh, hold on. You want to go to, um, oh, why is it not? Oh, so what you can do is you can actually double click or right click either on your mouse or your trackpad and go to where it says split at playhead. Or you can see uh, there's a shortcut, which is the sort of the command or splat key and T, and that'll do it too. So if I do this, splat T, it cuts it. And you can see that it cut it here and it cut it there. So now you can either choose to do this in this window because you see like, it's a lot closer, but I like to get out of this, do things in this window whenever possible because it shows me a little bit more how it looks in relation to the whole project. Even though we're only recording a little snippet of a voice, I think it's good to get used to it. So now when you hover your mouse over top of this, you see how it brings you two little icons at the top and the bottom. You want to go to the bottom and shrink this one and the bottom of the other one and shrink it a bit too. And then you can do, if you've got extra stuff at the end, you can shrink that too by, again, clicking and dragging on the bottom. All right, so now let's just name, actually, first what I want you to do is just to listen to each section and just make sure that you've trimmed off enough of the extra noise so that it sounds nice and clean. And also to make sure that you haven't cut off too much, right? Because you don't want to cut off the, like voice, you don't want it to go voice and cut off. And sometimes when you look at the waveform, the little S's and stuff don't necessarily show up. So you want to make sure you leave enough space. So just listen to it, make sure it sounds like a good edit. So once you have those and you think, okay, these are sorted out, let's talk about how to name them. So you're going to select your first. So the first thing should be, my name is, and the second should be, this is my voice. I obviously changed this because of the fact that I read, like my old one is here. So, but I'm going to rename both of them anyways. All right. So you click on this and you have this track, or you go up, into here, and then you go to region. You can go down to where it says so if you right click on this one region, you right click on it or double click, and it goes rename regions. And now it allows you to name it. So I can say John name 1, right? And you can see now it's changed it. And you can do that for both. The other way that you can do it is this. You've got it here, region, and there's this. You can see that what I named it, there's that little window below where it says region, and you can also change it to here. So I'm going to change it back. All right, so if you do it in track, it's different. It's going to change the name of the track. You want to have it selected on region, and that way it names just the one file. And then you can click on the other one and do the same thing. Region is my voice. All right. So once you got that all sorted out, we're good to go. I'm just going to explain a little bit about the concept of automation. All right. So automation is basically getting the recording program to do some of the work for you. So basically, you know, like let's say when we're looking at this this piece of vocal, I wanted the volume to change throughout, so that I want to kind of get louder and quieter and louder and quieter. Well, you can play it and kind of control it with this thing, which is your volume. On Reaper, it goes up and down, but it's essentially the same thing. And then there's also the thing that kind of makes it go into your left ear and your right ears, which is called panning. So what we can do in order to save some work for ourselves down the road is do this thing called automation. So in GarageBand, all you have to do is when you're in your screen, press the letter A, and you'll see how these things come up. So I'm going to press A again, and it's going to disappear. And I can press this again, and it appears. It's got this new little drop down on each track. So you'll see also there's a little icon, this little blue icon here. Well, we're going to turn that on this track, and then what it does is it gives you a little line, and when you click on the track, all of a sudden there's this yellow line. And you can do it a couple of ways, but a really cool way to do it is you make a few different points along your volume, so you can see that this is the yellow line, and it's saying it's automating your volume. And what it's going to do, it's going to do this automatically. So it's automating the volume. So when I play this, you can see this guy moving up and down. So which is pretty cool. So it's like having a little robot inside the robot. And then we can do that again for any of these controls. So for now, we'll just stick with volume, and we can also do pan. And again, panning is like when it moves it left and right. So you can see that we still see a faint yellow line showing where we automated this track. And now we can do the same thing. I've got pan, click on it, and now it's got a green line. The green line down the center means that it's right in the middle of your ears. So then you can do this, you can make some spots like so. And then if you watch, this is the thing, this little circle here is the thing that controls the left and right aspect of where the sound is going. And as you watch it go, it moves back and forth left and right. So it's a really cool thing that you can do with mixing, especially with vocals. Like if you have like, let's say you record two vocal tracks, right, to double them up, and then you want them to go into both ears so you can hear yourself in or the vocalist in either ear. You can actually make it go like this, back and forth. So it sounds like two people kind of moving toward and going away from each other. It's really cool. And it's a simple thing to do, right? It's not that tricky. It's just, again, you just have to know how to do it. Okay. All right. So if you see that, and does this say volume like here in your bar? Yep. So if you just point and click on that track, you'll see the yellow line it'll be darker. Right? So now it's nice and bright. Yeah? Okay. So you want to zoom in a little bit, and you go right to the beginning. Now notice how on my track it kind of goes like there's a little bit of, it kind of makes a triangle going up to where it starts to get a bit louder, right? So what you can do is you have a dot there, you put another dot right there. Just before where your voice starts to get louder. All right. Now, when you do that, you take that first dot and you drag it down. So what that does is it makes all the little bit of noise that's before your voice really starts to catch on. And then it gets to volume. Now, if you zoom back out and then go over to the end of your first section, you're going to make a dot between the two sections. Actually, you're going to make two dots between the two sections. So like this. All right, then you're going to make a dot kind of, right at the end of where you see that signal, decline, so that there's not really much signal left. All right, you make a dot right there, and then you pull this dot down. All right, so you're still going to see this one dot kind of in the middle of the space once you've got that. Okay, now you're going to make another dot. I move it over to just like, kind of like you did at the beginning, right, with your first vocal take. So now you should have a dot in the middle and a dot right here, just before your voice starts to pick up again. Let me know when you got that. So then it's going to look like this. Then you take that other dot that's left in the middle. All right, so you have this first one, right? All right. And then do you have the one at the end of your first vocal segment? Okay, so basically, so you should have it like this, and there's a big long line, right? So now if you do is just make a dot near the end of your, where the sort of vocal signal kind of goes down, make another dot just near the end of that, but before this section is done. And then here, I'll take this away, or I'll do this. So I'm going to get rid of this dot. Oh, cancel. I'll just kind of go back a couple steps. Okay. So you've got this dot. Now, do you have a dot that's in the middle, like in between the two, like in the space between the two vocal segments? Okay, so you need to make sure that you've got a dot there and then another dot right beside it, but still in that dead space. Okay? All right, so now you can take the first dot in that dead space and you can drag it down. So it looks like this at the end of your first vocal track. Okay? When you got that, you should have this one dot still in the dead space. You're going to make another dot near the very beginning of where you start to see a signal in your vocal track. All right, now you take this other dot that's still in the dead space and you pull that down. So now you've got kind of like a triangle, and then it kind of flattens out and then goes back up. All right, now we're going to go all the way to the end of your second vocal section. And you're going to, here, I'll just take this away. You're going to put a dot right at the end of where you see the signal petering off at the end of your vocal thing, and make another dot in the dead space after the section, and then drag it down. Boom. All right, so now if you listen back to it, you should be able to hear that it kind of, if there's any background noise, it kind of comes up and then down with the vocal, and it sounds a little bit cleaner in between takes. So give it a listen, see what it sounds like. When we get you set in with Reaper, we'll be able to do exactly the same thing, and I'll walk you through that too. I want everyone to be able to use the other one too, because there might be a situation where even someone who's working on a Mac at home might want to record something on a Windows computer somewhere else. They don't have their Mac, and so it's good to be able to know how to do all the same stuff in these same files, or within different digital audio workstations. All right. Okay, cool. So now let's do one more thing.